We are here. We are here. Man, that rollout, they're not playing no games. Apparently, Shams leaked the information. Maybe I should pull that image up as well. Let me pull up. What up, no cap? What's good, bro? Let me pull up that information now, cause browse. Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, I got to screenshot it first. Give me 1 second. What up, y'all? What up? Goat God Legend. Kill him Kyrie in the building. Hold this L. Ron Star. Everyone said we knew it. Cameron Bell. Facts. The cover at the fact. What do y'all think about the cover though? I ain't gonna front. It looks clean, but I do graphic design myself, and I'm looking at it, and it's like the background stuff. I like the way SGA looks on it. They like boosted the colors and stuff, so it looks dope. But the background stuff is kind of what they did with almost like AI generated. That's what it looks like. Like as if it's AI generated. I don't. Who knows? Que lo que? What up, Frank? What's goody? The cover looks too plain, but I'm definitely pre-ordering. Rufus said this is trash. Caleb Kyrie said almost at 5K. Uh, yeah, they're saying it's too plain. It's too plain. It looks vibrant though. I mean, like especially if you like zoom out, it looks vibrant. Hold on, let me pull up this other image. Let me pull it up first. Give me 1 second. I gotta get the everything right because I'm kind of rushing through this. Let me just get the 2K Twitter image so that way we could see what actually happened because I don't think 2K had intended to release this information. Not today. I think it was intended to roll out tomorrow. I could be wrong here, but we're gonna figure it out. We know how 2K does. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull up this. Take a screenshot of this here. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the stream. Okay, we're good. I got a screenshot of that. And now I'll just add it to the images here. Yeah, folks are excited about the cover, huh? Yeah, excited about that cover. Let me just pull up this image. This is the leak. Leak. And that was Shams. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we got that. Let me see what y'all saying. He said this is I can't wait to delete 2K25. Folks are saying. Uh what up, Ken? He said, what's good, City? I went to college to do stuff like that. It's plain, and my frat brother used to make graphics better than that. I feel you on that. From a graphic designer's perspective, you're like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But when you even when you look at it far, like if you zoom it out, if you imagine it on the cover, uh, it would probably stand out amongst the bunch. So appreciate you. True Hall of Fame Bills in the building. What do you think about the cover? I'm curious. Dope cover is what Keith Williams said. Legends cover predictions, said Tim Duncan. Yeah, so let me pull up this other thing I got. So we got before I pull that, let me pull up this other one because you're talking about like the other editions, and we got speculation, and someone did mention D Rose. We got a tweet from Double H. I was gonna talk about it in today's video, but today's video kind of just went on. Go catch today's video if you got a second. It so happened to drop right before they released this information, but it seemed to have been leaked. Here we go. Double H. I'll click OK. So Double H ended up sending out this tweet. Let me put on the shade cover real quick. Double H ended up sending out this tweet saying, I think we're getting NBA 2K's cover, 2K26 cover athlete and pre-order news today. Now, they may give us the pre-order news. It's possible because, like I said, I think they intended to release the cover athlete along with the pre-order information tomorrow. Maybe they'll just do the cover athlete because there seems to have been a leak. Maybe they'll just, let the cover athlete go for today and then leave the pre-order information for tomorrow. Who knows? But I'm sure we'll find out maybe within the next hour or so. Normally, 2K wouldn't release information so late in the day. I waited till around 11 o'clock to see if they would release information. I didn't see anything. It hit noon, nothing, and they just dropped it a little while ago. The regular version, Double H predicted it would be SGA. He was right. Just makes the most sense. They have plenty of time to do Wemby or Ant. This is the perfect year for SGA. I imagine the All-Star edition may have Wemby or Ant. I'm not sure who you guys think they would go with out of Wemby or Anthony Edwards. The Legend Edition predicting D Rose. That might be it, huh? It just sounds right. I don't know what you guys think. It sounds D Rose don't deserve a cover. Let's keep it a stack, is what B Relly said. I don't know. I feel like D Rose is hella respected. But you just saying not for legend when you're comparing him to like LeBron James or something like that. Uh, he said he retired just last September and is a well liked player. And he was on the 2K13 cover, so they could honor him. Don't pre-order; it's a waste. We'll get into that, Impure. We'll definitely get into what my thoughts on pre-orders. Caitlin Clark, they're predicting, well, Double H is predicting will be on the WNBA cover. The WNBA cover, along with the standard cover, like what you see with SGA, those are going to be like the standard pricing. They'll have like the least incentives. But that's what we got. I'm going to pull up the cover again. We'll talk about the cover, talk about some stuff we was getting into in today's video. The roadmap, maybe we'll cover some of that as well. But that is the cover right there. Carmelo? What do you guys think about Carmelo? Interesting. I think it's Carmelo Anthony. Ain't he been inducted into a Hall of Fame? You guys are on it. Allen Iverson would be dope. I could see them going with Allen. Out of everybody we mentioned between Carmelo, D Rose, or AI, I could see them going with AI. 2K25 2.0 coming to a console near you. Should you pre-order NBA 2? Let me let the Discord know that we're live. I haven't done that yet. Messing around with y'all. I haven't even let Discord know that we're live. Hey, if you guys are tired of running with randoms, join our Discord, man. We're out here running every day. I'll do my best to make it onto the Rec Warriors. If you make it onto the Rec Warriors, you get a chance to just run with me and the All City squad. There's over 300 plus Rec Warriors right now. You just got to try out or subscribe to our Discord and you'll get instant access. Let me let them know. Let me pull up one more thing. YouTube viewers, I might move that to the top. Yeah, 132 in the chat. They say this one game, no PS4. Yeah, so yeah, there's speculation. It's all speculation. There hasn't been 100% confirmed. What? What? What in the... That's crazy. Yo. What the hell, Bama? Bama with setting it off. Bama with the $500 super chat. It's just next level. Glad to see you live again. Any date for 2K26 release yet? Be blessed, my friend. Salute to you, Bama. Thank you so much for making that happen. That was just a beautiful thing. That is just insane. Thank you again. Thank you. $500 super chat from Bama Beach Boy. NBA 2K26. Again, it is all speculation. There hasn't been 100% confirmation on when it'll be released. But when looking at their earnings report, it looks like they're setting up for a September 5th release date. I'll put up the roadmap. We'll talk about it for a little while. This is the cover. What you're looking at on screen is the cover. Again, salute Bama for the $500 super chat. That's just super dope. How is a real image of FGA playing? I get what they back in the day, covers used to have a lot of graphics on it. I think that's what most people are referring to when they're saying that it looks plain. We used to have you might have to look up some of the older 2K covers. Like if you think of the Legend Edition for, I think it was what was that, NBA 2K19 or 20 with LeBron James. They had a bunch of graphics on it. Charles Barkley will never be on the cover of an NBA 2K game. Do you think right on what he says? Oh, you're saying, do I think he's right on what he says? I don't think most players. I think he's right. I think there's a certain aspect that says, yeah, he's right. They should get paid. 2K is rolling in money, and if you could kick that out to the right people. So yeah, I think I would say yeah, he's right in what he says, but then again, there's an option for other people that really not caring about the paycheck per se. They're more so just want to have their likeness used in a video game, and it benefits them because they come out with a shoe deal or something like that, or any type of recognition helps. So I imagine not a lot of people are worried, not a lot of players are worried about that. But you talk about the veterans, that's a whole different story. Well, honestly, 2K13 to 17 was just a red background. Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I guess we're talking about when the hype started for the covers. Uh, so let's talk about why do we even got this information in the first place? Damn, that $500 super chat got me zoning. Good looking out, Bama. So like I said, I was doing the video earlier today, and I was thinking we haven't got any information up until then, so they're probably not going to drop it. Probably not going to drop it today. We knew it was coming soon, as I expressed in the video today. We knew it was either going to be today or sometime real soon. It's already the 8th. So last year they released the information on the 10th, and the year before that they released it on the 6th. So it was going to be sometime between the 6th and the 10th. They so happened to drop it. Uh, we're thinking, yeah, there's speculation that it's September 5th for 2K26, the release date. I'll pull up the roadmap and we'll get into that. We'll get into that during this live stream. Might as well. I covered a lot of this stuff in the video, in today's video. You guys could check that out in case you see we're kind of stalling and I'm responding to comments. You just want to get right to the information. It's in today's video. He said a basic booty cheek cover. Not having Charles with the rest of the squad during halftime is wild. They need to just pay the man. Well, he's standing his ground. He's definitely standing his ground. All right, so the cover got released, and I think the reason why it got released is because, let me pull up the image, pull down that. No, I forgot we pulled up this double H tweet. I had it up just a second ago, but I'll pull it back up right now. I just gotta wait for it to load, and we'll get it in just a second as to why this cover was released today. And it was later in the day, so that lends to the idea that the leaked information forced 2K to drop the cover athlete today. So Sham sent this out. Summer of SGA, he got the MVP award, lead scoring title. He's an NBA champ. He got the NBA championship, the finals MVP, 285 million Supermax extension, first signature shoe release, and now SGA will grace the new cover of NBA 2K26 per sources. So that got put out, and NBA 2K, when I had pulled this up, so there was probably about a 40-minute difference from when Sham sent that out to when NBA 2K put out the cover information. So NBA 2K responded to that with the eyes emoji, and then 40 minutes later, they actually dropped the official announcement for this SGA cover, which I'll pull up on screen right now. That's the SGA cover. What up, Mud Dog? What's going on, man? How you guys in the chat gonna cry about the cover? Cry about everything? You gotta understand that for me, from this was always a good thing. Creating dialogue amongst your peers who play 2K, talking about the cover, getting hyped about the cover. And it was very different when you had a physical copy. It's true. It was very different, but there's still some significance in the cover athlete because they'll usually be a part of loading screens and things like that. So, and it's a vibe, and so it kind of tells me that at least we still have a portion of the 2K culture here. Not everything has been killed. If Shan said it, it's facts. And Tron, you're right, could have added more color for sure. Tron said, okay, OKC Thunder, Y2K not adding lightning to the background, so much they could do to make the cover dope. And these are little things that we used to have with NBA 2K covers. There used to be way more graphics involved. I like the idea of keeping it simple as well. And I think, the cover is going to do what it's meant to do. But, the community is used to having more graphics involved with their covers. We all knew SGA would be the cover athlete after the season he had. Yeah, it's facts. It's facts. And he ended it well as well. So, People were leaning towards SGA, and it happened. I shared a video in today's video. I shared a video clip of Ronnie 2K hitting the streets and asking people who they thought was going to be on the cover or who they would like to see on the cover for NBA 2K26. Can you believe somebody said Draymond Green? I was like, what? No point if you buy it online. What up, Rome? Blessings, blessings. Uh, what's up, All City? I'm worried about the gameplay. I'm cool with SGA, but gameplay is what matters to me. As it matters to me the most as well. Although I like creating dialogue with the community, I've been a part of the community for so long. Gameplay is what matters to me too. And I don't know how many years I got of NBA 2K games if they continue down this route with gameplay. Now there runs the risk that now they have been working on NBA 2K26, so I don't know how much different it's gonna be from NBA 2K25. But in regards to like maybe the year after that, with the college basketball on the horizon for it's probably in 28. I imagine 2K is gonna have to start changing whatever shift in culture they created over the last few years. They probably gonna have to start changing it back. They cannot continue with this like revolving door of players who only play for a season, um, players who not are completely dedicated to the franchise. Back wasn't too long ago, maybe 5 years ago, that we used to have a strong, dedicated cultural fan base. And what I mean by that is that 2K in itself was a culture. Um, and I think they slowly kind of, I don't know, they slowly kind of finished off the whole culture. And it's good to see that we're still out here talking about this stuff. I hope the soundtrack brings back the "I can't wait to play 2K" feels. I remember when the soundtrack was a staple of a 2K good game. Couldn't help it. Nowadays, I just because I do the live streaming stuff. Nowadays, I turn the PA volume all the way down, so I don't ever have the music on. But that's pretty dope that you guys are listening to the soundtrack. I know some people in the community. You think City is over? I know some people in the community enjoy that soundtrack. The City. Do I think the City is over? I don't think so. I think we're gonna get the City again. They need to do better with the parks. Like they need to do better with. We need realistic parks, and if you're not gonna go like with some of the well-known actual IRL parks, then bring back the realism to the parks. Like make them gritty, old school. Some parks have nets. The biggest difference between parks used to be like we're going over here because we want to play on chain nets. You know what I'm saying? So when you went to Rivet, you played on chain nets. Bring back little things. Oh, I don't know if you guys remember this stuff, but bring back if you want to make the park seem lively again. There were little incentives that park players had, and I'll get to the comments in just 1 second. I'll get to the comments in just 1 second, but there were little incentives for joining a particular affiliation. I don't know how many new players on 2K even know about this, but if you joined River City, those are players who had like a boost to dunking. When you dunk the rock, the screen will rattle. Uh, Old Town used to have an incentive. If you joined the Old Town affiliation, you were incentivized with better dribbling, and whenever you got hot, the ball was be on fire. And for the ballers, the Sunset Beat ballers, they got an additional incentive for shooting. So if you were a shooter, you went to Sunset. If you were a dribbler, you went to Old Town, and if you were in the paint, you went to Rivet. So you know little things like that will help bring back that park scene. And I think it's good for the community because we separate ourselves. We're like, if I'm a slasher, I'm a slasher. I'm a driving type of player. Shooters love to shoot, and shooters are gonna shoot, and dribblers are gonna always, dribble out the clock. I'm sure a lot of you guys see them when you go into rec randoms. Please remove the City. We've had this for every year of next gen. It's horrible and makes the game more laggy. I don't know. I think they did well, in my opinion. In NBA 2K25, they did well with the City. I don't find it to be an inconvenience at all right now. But I'm not a player who travels the city. That's the difference. So I don't go through the city. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I'm moving around the city. I get out in the main station. I go to my court or go to the rec center from the main station. There's like, a matter of seconds to get to each. So maybe it is still inconvenient. Yeah. So, talking about current gen, we finna have no green animations. The homie said. Talking about current gen, it's likely and it's rumored that there's not going to be an NBA 2K26 for old gen consoles. People are still referring to it as current gen. But yeah, I don't think, I'm not 100% certain, but it's likely that it won't be. He said the cover is so booty. Rivet was dunking in defense, Old Town was dribbling and passing, and Sunset was shooting and rebounding. It's laggy because 2K wants it. And I don't think there's in their intention to have it laggy. There's just so much going on. And Agent used to go in when he used to make 2K content. One of the last videos I remember Agent making was talking about if 2K would just leave the background. So when you go into a game, there's no background. Like if you're playing in the park or something, you don't see everybody else playing, or you will experience less lag if you kind of fade out the backgrounds, blur out the background. So 2K doesn't have to process so much information. Please make clothes affordable or make the VC after games go up. That'll ruin all of 2K's plans. 2K just signed, or they're about to finalize a new licensing agreement and partnership with the NBA. The last time they paid 1.1 billion for 7 years. This is the year that they had to sign again. So you could only imagine that number, and the way they add that up is about 10 to 15% of your company's revenue for whatever publisher is going for it. So I imagine that number would have gone up maybe double or triple the amount. So 2.2 or 3.3 or something like that. And that they will have to pay $3.3 billion or $2.2 billion. So they got to make up that money, and that's coming out of our pockets. And I'm saying 2K, come on, man. Like, I don't mind that it comes out of our pockets, but make it worth it. Please make it worth it. That's what we're asking for. You got the rep grind right. They got so many things right with NBA 2K25 and forgot about the freaking gameplay. Oh, man. Lordy. How do you screw up the gameplay but get everything surrounding it right? Bring back OG intros and outros. Yes. Yeah, remember that? You don't know what I'm talking. They probably don't even, half these folks don't even know what that is. There was whenever you won a game, you used to be able to embarrass your opponent walking off the court, and you go and get the intros or outros, as your opponent is walking off the court. These were little things that made the park so much more fun. But I don't know if it could ever come back after matchmaking. I don't see the park scene has to be different after introducing the theaters and those theater modes. It has to be matchmaking. Most people don't want to wait on the dots, and if you get on any type of win streak, you're going to be recognized. 2K acknowledges win streaks, and if you're on that win streak, you want to be acknowledged. So other people are going to see that as well and stay away from those courts. And it leaves folks waiting on the court for longer than they want, and people waiting on the dots. It seems to be an inconvenience now. When you walk on side an emo, yeah, starting. Old Gen is holding a lot of games back. Do you know All City, if the shy cover is AI? It looks AI generated, right? Yeah, it looks AI generated to me as well. I imagine they didn't want to put. It looks like they didn't want to make show. They didn't want to show SGA playing against an actual NBA team, so they probably just asked. The way it looks to me is that SGA was cut out. I'm trying to see if there's any indicator that shows, but it looks like SGA was cut out. And then they asked AI to generate an image of basketball players. And it looks like it was when it's blurred like that and stuff, is easy to make this happen from a graphic designer's perspective. So you ask AI to generate a basketball team with no jerseys, or with no logos on the jerseys, and then you take that into Photoshop and blow it and blur it all out. You enlarge it and blur it all out. He says, I don't see how you can have Iverson on the cover, but you can't put a pair of Iversons on your My Player. It's just like 25 with a roster update with a few minor changes. So interesting you mentioned that, because you know I was talking about it in a video that I posted this week. We all know that EA, they won the exclusive license to create an action simulation basketball game, college basketball game, and the college licensing company sent that out. Maybe they sent that out at the end. I think it was November of 24. And after they sent out a proposal, a request to some major publishers, three of those publishers ended up responding. I think they sent it to five, and three of them ended up responding. You could bet that 2K was one of those who actually submitted a formal bid, along with EA. I would, I can't imagine any. I can't imagine 2K will give up that bag by not even submitting a formal bid. So I imagine 2K was one of those three. EA ended up winning the bid with their success with college football. I think that's what the college licensing company actually wanted, to bring more recognition to, the schools and the players. And it looks like EA has already shown success with that, with college football being the number one selling sports title in sports gaming history. They gave that joint to EA. 2K dropped the ball. And now 2K has an opportunity. They can't create a simulation type of college basketball game, but they can create an action type of basketball game. Not action simulation, but more action basketball, similar to a street game or NBA Jam type of game. Now, talking about EA winning, the bid for that college basketball game, one of the things that I found interesting was that, and this is in reference to the guy's comment saying that this is this is just a roster update that we'll be paying for. With EA's college basketball game, if they skip a year, if they end up saying like they drop 1 year saying 28, and then they don't make a new game in 29, but then they make one in 30, what they'll do for 29 is give us downloadable content, roster updates. And I'm not 100% sure that'll be free, but I imagine it should be free. And I think that's what a lot of 2K players want, especially when the game, like the actual gameplay, doesn't show improvements year to year. In my opinion, the games are different. 21 to 25 are different, but not for the better. And I went over that in a video this week as well, where we kind of reviewed all the scores from Metacritic and OpenCritic. And we noticed that the exact sentiment I'm sharing right here in this live stream is exactly what the numbers show. In NBA 2K21, 2K started going downhill and has never been the same since. There hasn't been 180 score. Like 2K hasn't scored an 80. And you think like 8 out of 10, that's fairly decent. A lot of people will be like 8 out of 10 is a suspect kind of game. It's good. It might be good, but it's suspect. You know what I mean? It's not going to be great. You know that, hands down. I'll get to that super chat. 4 City Tron said 2K17 in the chat. Click that like button. Help the live. 2K26, 200K subscribers on the way. Appreciate the $4.99 super chat. All City Tron in the building. Man, oh man. If EA outsells 2K in college, this might open up the bid for the NBA license. Well, I don't think they're gonna outsell. It's a possibility. Who knows? Who knows what 2K? 2K did release a statement. Let me pull that up. They did release some snide remark. Let me see if I could pull it up. Let's see if I got it close by. Something like telling EA classes in session. I covered it in yesterday's video as well. But let me see if I can get that up for y'all. Give me 1 second. NBA 2K. Campus has been quiet for too long. Mm, I'm pretty sure I saved that. Mm, but they did say some along those lines, and I'm trying to see if I got the screenshot. It doesn't look like I got it because that was recent. This here was recent. But yeah, it's almost like they're trying to take some of EA's clout for this college basketball day. Almost like they're just trying to hop on the bandwagon without officially saying that they would release an NBA. It's just some. Oh, I got it. I do have it. I do have it. It was in white. That's I'm looking for a black screenshot, and it was in white. So I do have it. I'm pretty sure I got it. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Almost certain. Here, this is it right here, right? Yeah. Okay. This is it right here. All right. Let me pull that up. Image. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Let me get this joint right here. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So 2K, they ended up releasing Semper Reloaded with a super chat. That is dope, man. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on, hold on. Let me see what's happening. Yeah, it says here, he said 2K Sports on Tuesday published the following statement. 2K is the undisputed home of basketball. We have a strong history with college hoops and are exploring exciting new ways to bring athletes and schools to life. Classes in session. Now, there was a couple things. Let me get to the super chat real quick. Let me reference Bama's super chat. I figure they lowballed the NCAA and NIL just like they did to Kobe's estate, assuming no other company would ever be seriously considered. Interesting thoughts. Appreciate the 9.99 super chat, Semper. That is the cover, Dylan. Says 2K is the undisputed home of basketball gaming. We have a strong history with college hoops and are exploring new ways, exciting new ways to bring athletes and schools to life. The reason why I want, and he said classes, it capped off by saying classes in session. But the reason why I thought this was kind of calculated, that response, is because I imagine that that was the goal from the college licensing company. They wanted whoever was going to take on the responsibility of a new college basketball game, they wanted to help bring athletes and schools to life, similar to what college football uh, did. And, 2K probably heard that maybe in the proposal, they kind of outlined that because the proposal from the college licensing company was sent out in November of 24, and they were just now getting around. They had to go through a whole committee review from the college licensing company. Each person who submitted a formal bid, or each company that submitted a formal bid, and they gave it to EA. But 2K sent that out, I imagine, because that was in the first proposal sent out to the college licensing company to find new ways on bringing athletes and schools to life. That was the goal. Is City mixing up me and Bama too? I don't understand. I said Semper. What do you mean? What does that mean? Maybe I did call. Maybe I did call him. I don't know if I don't think I called you Bama though. Maybe I said. Maybe I did. So, do you think they will keep the same builder? It's hard to say. People keep asking me about that type of stuff. I imagine the builder is going to be similar, but it's just hard to say because 2K's been so quiet. They've been like really, really quiet. Do you guys know that we haven't heard from Mike Wang in the year 2025? The last tweet he sent out, or the last conversation he had about 2K with the public, was like on December 2nd or something like that of 2024. So they've been so quiet that it makes me wonder, like, are they going to change anything? Everything's just up in the air. Would they change anything? How are they receiving the information that we're giving out? Um, the complaints or the people who feel good about 2K25, there just hasn't been nothing from 2K. They've been as like silent as a mouse, crickets out there. So I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. And what I mean to say by that is as we get information, because I've been doing this stuff for a long time, I'll be able to understand what they're marketing to you guys, like their intentions on what to change. So if they're trying to market, say they're eliminating RNG, they'll market that to us, and that means that they were hearing our cries through NBA 2K25, but they said nothing. They stood quiet. But if they market to us, yeah, this year no more RNG, or something like shooting is going back, take shooting back to the old ways of shooting, or shooting percentages will be increased in 2K26. You know, if the marketing says something along those lines, then we know that they were hearing us in 2K25, and we can get an idea of what to expect for 2K26. That's all we got to go off of. Don't get me wrong, they're gonna come out. The devs are gonna come out. They just have to get, like, I guess, the embargo lifted in their little in their dev community. And then they all come out in full force. Everybody starts marketing. Uh, everybody starts trying to sell the game. He said that dono hurt my pockets and ain't even my money. Shout out to Bama for the $500 super chat. Yeah, Bama always looking out for the channel. Bama rolling with 25K XP after that dono. Boom. They don't care about no type of feedback. I don't think anything really changes. They realize by staying quiet, YouTubers will talk about them not talking. That itself is publicity and costs them nothing. As you're right. Yeah, you're exactly right. But if they were really concerned with, don't get me wrong, I believe that is an aspect. But if they were really concerned, I think they completely believe in their marketing rollouts, is what I'm saying. They're number one, in case you guys didn't know. We learned this in a recent earnings report. Uh, the company's number one line item expense is marketing. They spend the most money on marketing. So I don't think they really consider creators too much. And the creators for 2K don't hit like creators for other platforms. Like 2K viewership has like a somewhat of a cap to it. Where in other genres of gaming, gamer news is like huge. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they stress too much. I don't know. There have to be like maybe a general sports gaming news creator, as opposed to just Madden creator or a Madden news creator or a two. There has to be like a sports gaming news creator. Somebody. Maybe I should take that. Maybe I should take that idea and run with it. Who knows? Bring back the parks. I would love to play in the parks again. EA is going after all college sports. Bama says EA is going after all college sports. It's easier to contract it to one developer. Heard college baseball and women's college softball are in the talks. Hope EA doesn't go full microtransactions like 2K. EA is known for conducting business with their player base the very same way 2K conducts business with its player base. So if there's a certain level of success there, the difference is maybe EA is going to more so focus on fun, so the player base won't, just like with Call of Duty, microtransactions aren't a heavy issue, but yet they make a ton of money through microtransactions because the gameplay is so up to par. Maybe not up to par from a Call of Duty player standards, but like if I get on Call of Duty, that joint is off the hook. Now that you've got a taste 2K on Xbox, what I'm getting it on Xbox. Yeah, I'm never going back to PlayStation for 2K. I'm staying on Xbox unless Xbox stops making Xboxes. I'm gonna stay on it. I'm not gonna have that experience again. EA trash though. Their sports games never good. Who knows? I mean, they got the number one selling sports title, College Football 26. They did something right with that joint. And the new one drops in 3 days. Big W for the Eat the line when describing Ronnie. Appreciate you, Lou Reeves. I thought that was funny. This was all winging it in today's video. Lou Reeves, when as I'm going along the video, I said, oh, all right, let me talk about. I didn't know I was gonna have that in today's video. So the first thing I thought of was to kind of reference the Black Hokage's video about the rise and fall of Ronnie 2K. And then I said, well, let me just, snip the clip that I made so I could show, our viewers what we did for that video on Ronnie 2K. Because there were a bunch of creators. Y'all go check out the Black Hokage. He did really good with that video. It's got something like 450,000 views. But yeah, so let me snip it and then share it with you guys, see what y'all think. And I thought it was dope. It was fun. Only because people have been waiting for that game for like 15 years. It's true. You're probably right. You're probably right, John. I think it was more like 10 years for college football and some like 16 years for college basketball or something like that. Same game plan, 2K or Take Two got with GTA 6. Another thing is, what are they going to charge for NBA 2K26's standard version? That's another key thing. Take Two is the parent company of NBA 2K, 2K Games, and they're also the parent company of Rockstar, GTA. I know GTA wants the opportunity. You guys know they delayed the release of GTA 6. So I know they want the best opportunity and leverage to charge max dollar for the standard version of GTA 6. And it's gonna be like a pivotal moment, a trend-setting moment in gaming. As soon as one company is allowed to make it happen, then other companies are going to follow suit. They may not be delivering the same product like GTA would deliver or Rockstar would deliver with GTA, but if they raise the standard version of the game to say $100, then other companies are going to follow suit ASAP. The best way to make that happen and get players comfortable with spending close to $100 is to raise this year's games to $80, which has already started happening with Xbox games and Nintendo games. $80 standard versions of games. So I imagine Take-Two is going to help create that wave with NBA 2K26. Not 100% certain, but we'll be finding out any minute, yeah? The standard, the pre-order releases should be dropping any minute, either today or tomorrow. I'll buy GTA 6 for $1 billion and a loan on my left arm. Oh, you said probably $70. Yeah, $70 is guaranteed. We're paying $70 for the standard version of NBA 2K26. That's guaranteed. We're just wondering if they're gonna follow suit. 2K was the first company to raise the game. The first game ever to go to $70 was from NBA 2K. And how many of your favorite games are now $70? Just so happens that some people got ahead of 2K, raising the price to $80. I don't think 2K is going to just sit back and say, nah, we're just going to be nice. Nah, even though we just signed this new licensing agreement with the NBA for like $3 billion, we'll eat that. That ain't happening. We all about to pay, Pookie. EA making college every year. 26 just came out. They copy and paste for sure. I mean, I did look up some stuff about the college football 26. I don't know how true it is. I may consider getting it. From what I understand, it drops on the 11th, but there was supposed to be quite a number of improvements for college football 26. But I know EA has this very similar problems to what 2K has in regards to copy and pasting and very few improvements from year to year. But there was something different with this particular contract because they got a little leverage. They have been offered the opportunity to wait a year in between games. So while they're working on Madden 1 year, they'll be doing college the next year or something like that. I know they do Madden every year, but he said, bold prediction. We start off in March Madness, pick between like 4 different teams and have some sort of combine, then summer league before we turn pro. Dope prediction. Mm-hmm. I went over I was wondering why NBA 2K had lost that bid to create that college basketball game, considering that NBA 2K is the only basketball simulation option that we have out there. And this week I got to looking at all, like I mentioned earlier, I got to looking at all the scores from Metacritic and OpenCritic. And I'm trying to decide if I should pull that image up because I want to make sure. Let me see if I could pull it up. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna. We'll save that for another one. I don't think I'm gonna pull it up. NBA 2K would be. We'll get with the chat. Would be what it is if they had competition. Things would be better for 2K players. I honestly think. Hold on, let me move this. I think I'm reading. I really think. Hold on, what the homie said. I really think this is gonna change things. That's how I was feeling too. I mean, we keep our fingers crossed. I think NBA 2K is just that big, and I believe them to be that arrogant that they sit back and wait to the last minute and take shortcuts through gameplay, take shortcuts in gameplay development. Mind you, monetization, there's no shortcuts involved with monetization. That joint just gets more and more aggressive every year. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna pull up the 25 roadmap. That's what I'm gonna do next. You guys are seeing the cover. I'm gonna pull up the 2K26 roadmap. Well, it's the 2K25 roadmap, but their marketing is damn near identical from year to year. So I'm gonna pull that up. So that way we can come up with some dates on what you guys should expect, like the information that you guys should expect. It's gonna be pretty dry from now until maybe August 1st. At least from that's what it was last year. Where did I save the roadmap? I think I saved it under screenshots and 2K25 general, and then we got the roadmap. Okay. Let me pull up this roadmap and make it smaller. Yeah, so that was the 25 roadmap, y'all. This was the 25 roadmap on August 1st. So we're July 8th. That leaves us a few weeks until we get the first bits of information. Now, these numbers may be a day or two off for NBA 2K26. But, you know, the first bits of information, it talks about pro play. And I believe they're going to market it and roll it out the same exact way, mainly because NBA 2K26 this year is supposed to be the finalization of incorporating pro play animations. Up until this point, we've been playing with like separate animations, some captured through motion capture, people putting on a motion capture suit, and some of the animations that we had were captured through pro play, where they have this software that is able to capture motion through IRL NBA footage. And it was supposed to make things so much better, but from gameplay, we see everything is way more slow and clunky. I don't know what the finalization of pro play is going to mean for a 2K gameplay. The week of August 5th, my player and my career information. August 12th, my NBA and the W information. The week of August 19th, you get my team information. And what a lot of people look forward to, the week of August 26th, we get the city information. On the week of launch, we could get information about season 1 and NBA 2K26 is, from what we know so far, not 100% confirmation, but from what we know so far, we're expecting a September 5th release. On to the chat. Luckily, I can pre-order the game before I know anything about it. Thank you for mentioning that, Semper, but it's facts. Man, imagine you've become that successful that you're sending out pre-orders for a game that you tell your audience nothing about, and even though every single game is different. Like, what's it to 2K to release some key bits of information that show why NBA 2K26 is going to be different from NBA 2K25 before giving pre-order information out? Before asking your audience to pre-order the game or offering options to pre-order the game, how about sharing some information about the game? You no longer have that same dedicated core fan base. It's not the same no more. You got revolving door type of players that A lot of them wait until it's free, and more so are going to wait until it's free for NBA 2K26 because of the effects that or changes that NBA 2K made to gameplay with NBA 2K25. How about bring back demos, right? Yeah, bring back demos. Why? Why not have a demo? It's like arrogance and manipulative sort of ways, because if I was arrogant about my product, I'd give a demos. Hell yeah, they're gonna buy it. Just give them a taste. They're gonna buy it. Pause. Yeah. Who wouldn't? You telling me a demo will prevent somebody from buying the game if the game was good? No way. He said GTA 6 has a trailer before 2K26. That's funny though. Pre-order is going to be available before Mike Wang tweets are. They won't do demos anymore because they know the game is butt cheeks. You should see how bad 2K messed up Tiger Woods golf. I think I did. I think I did see how bad they messed it up. I'm almost certain I played it. Yeah. I played it for like a half an hour and then shut it off. If any of you guys are new here, I'm going to be on this 2K26 stuff. Any information officially released from 2K or leaks and stuff like that released from other creators. You know, our platform here, All City Live TV, we've been responsible for getting with some of the biggest leaks in 2K history. From Stunner to, I forget, Ron something, I forgot his name, Ron Jeezy or something like that. They came out of our platform. And this changed a lot of things. So I'm going to be on it. We get information about 2K26. We will be sharing it here on this platform all the way up until release date and thereafter. If you're new here, consider subscribing and dropping a like on the live stream because it helps the algorithm. Definitely appreciate y'all for that. He says, I'll never pre-order a game. They can't run out of digital copies. But it's facts, though. Help me understand. Help me. Help me. Let's see here. Help me understand why. Because I do 2K content. It's in my best interest to pre-order the game. But I've been so frustrated with 2K. I wasn't going to pre-order last year, but the homie Don was like, nah, you got it. You got it. You got it. I was so close to not pre-ordering. This year, I know I'm going to pre-order it. But if I wasn't a 2K creator, if I didn't create content for 2K or have to talk about this stuff or keep up to date with gameplay and everything involved, all the details, intricate details about the game, not only would I not pre-order the game, I probably wouldn't even buy the game. I would probably wait until it's free. And I have no incentive for saying that on a live stream. There is zero incentive. If anything, it's only a downside to saying that in a live stream. But I like to use these live streams like I'm talking with my homies. And if we were in a Discord call, that's exactly what I know I would be saying. And I know a lot of people would be in agreement with me. So that's why I try to keep it a buck. Like, hell no, I ain't finna tell y'all something different than I would just talking with the homies. That's how I feel about gameplay. It sucks. It's nothing like it once was, because if it was, man, if it's $80, I'm not getting it till a sale happens. That's what Hobby said. Do you think the cost of a build will increase this year? Interesting question. Now, for NBA 2K24, it was the first time that they lowered the cost per build, and they lowered it by a significant amount, by 100,000 VC. In NBA 2K23, I paid something like 473,000, and in NBA 2K24, that dropped to 373,000 or 4,000, something like that. But it was almost 100,000 VC difference. NBA 2K25 maintained the same cost per build like NBA 2K24, down to a T. And they changed some things because you used to be able to get charged per attribute. And they changed some things around where now it's your overall. So within an overall count is a particular charge for upgrade. And I explained all of this in previous videos. It's hard to say which direction they go. If they intend to raise it, we see some increases in prices. If it goes to $80, that gives them leverage to raise the price cost per build. You would think it would be vice versa, but if people pay $80, then that means they're willing to spend. And that lends to the idea that they spend a little bit more on a build. And it's already been that high. So I could see them doing that again. I could see them raising it up, especially because they signed that new licensing agreement. They got some money to make up for. Any changes, if any, are coming to the game? None that we know of. None that's been 100% confirmed by 2K. 2K has been silent. The second 2K comes out, any representative of 2K comes out, is going to be uploaded here on this channel. We'll be talking about it in live streams. This is go time, y'all. So this is when we're out and about. We're on top of the news. Anything referencing the new game, we're talking about it. So they've been silent. We haven't heard from Mike Wang in the year 2025. I'm not talking about 2K games. I'm saying the year 2025, we have not heard a peep from Mike Wang. The last post he made was December 2nd of 2024. So they've been hella quiet. There's probably some weird type of embargo or restriction for them to release information about the new and upcoming game, and they haven't said anything about changes. They haven't even acknowledged some of the complaints from 2K players or showed any level of change through patches and gameplay. So it's hard to say what they're thinking. Game share the base edition of 2K26 with someone you trust. Do you think they should remove cap break? No, hell nah. Cap breakers, in my opinion, saved NBA 2K25. They bet. If they screw that up, bro, I'd be upset for 2K. They can't screw that up. That's one of the best things they put into 2K in regards to keeping you wanting to get more, try something new, or watching your build evolve into something different. The whole aspect of creating your build was a whole different experience with cap breakers, because now you were considering those cap breakers when creating your build. You had to make sure that your wingspan was a certain, length, so that you can get this amount of, or your strength was here, so you can get, this amount of additional attributes, even though you're not upgrading them ASAP. You were planning for cap breakers. You were planning for the grind as well. I'm working on hitting Veteran 2 on my Xbox account. I was like 90-some% to Veteran 1 on my PlayStation before making the switch, and now we're about to hit Veteran 2. Lord knows what I would have been if I stood on PlayStation. But I'm about to experience Veteran 2 cap breakers, and that's going to change my players' abilities out there. And it's dope. It's like having new players for grinding rep. It's pretty dope. Yeah, the gameplay was bad in my opinion. You said, what is a cap breaker? A cap breaker is like, let's say you have a 93 3-point attribute. Well, you could break, you could go above that cap that you normally had. In other words, you could break the cap. So as long as your wingspan, when you're creating your build, you know how you may put it to like a 93 3-ball, but because you have a short wingspan, it could actually go to 99. As long as you don't pass that threshold, like if you increase your wingspan and say it only goes to 95, you're only able to apply it to 95, but you only want 93 at the moment, you'll still be able to put 2 additional cap breakers later on as you grind your rep to go past the set number you have when you created the build. So it's moving past your caps, but you got to make sure that while you're making it, the number is allowed to get up to where you want to put cap breakers on. Otherwise, it'll be all capped out. Pro play as well. Take that stuff. Well, pro play is not going anywhere. They just took the last 3 to 4 years incorporating pro play into NBA 2K games. 2K26 is going to be the finalization of pro play. Pro play is not going anywhere. Nowhere. They didn't spend the last 3 years adding these animations for nothing. And if they did remove pro play, they have to go back to motion capture. And I don't know how that will work, reverting the process. What up, gamer? What's good? Go watch the 2K25 trailer. You will be prepared for the 26 trailer. One thing that 2K is always going to do well, they're always going to market the game well to you guys. It's always going to be the case. That's their number one line item expense. That's the thing they spend the most money on. They're going to market it well. And it's, creators like myself that'll break down that marketing. And this year, it's going to be like with a magnifying glass, because The disappointment has hit an all-time, like, new. It's just a whole new level of disappointment with NBA 2K25. The direction that they're going, and how, because I've been doing the news for such a while, I know how they speak now. So, like, that's why I say I'm waiting for the marketing, because when they start marketing, what's a lie, or for the most part, you start speaking that 2K language, what they looking to cover up, like fluff it up more than what it is. You know what I'm saying? Look at the 2K26 cover. Tatum in the background was 2K25's cover. So you think this guy right here? Hold on. You think the guy where the ball, like right behind the ball, is Tatum? That's funny. You know what? I just got an image. That's interesting that you said that. Uh that's that's not. I don't think that's the case though. But the image does look. It could be. It could be. Let's see. Let's see if we could pull that up. Because I did just today. I did just make an image for. Nah, that's not him. Yeah, he doesn't have the mess around. It could be. I just don't see the. I don't see the elbow thing unless that thing was generated in there. But it is a very similar stance. If you guys are looking at the image, what he's saying is right behind SGA's ball, like the ball that he's holding in his hand. The image of that blurred out guy in the background, he's saying is this image of Jason Tatum on the 2K25 cover. That I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that's him. But that was interesting. You showed that it symbolized that 2K25 is behind them. He said, "Wishful thinking, huh, Semper?" I'm definitely getting the game. Definitely getting the game. Definitely pre-ordering. You know, if I was to give advice on I say no, don't pre-order. I said this in a video. I don't recommend pre-ordering 2K for the simple fact that seems unnecessary. The incentives for pre-ordering, unless it's like you're a die-hard 2K fan that you need to play the game 2 days early or something like that, there's very little incentive for pre-ordering. And they haven't shown enough improvements to gameplay over the last 5 years for me to say, yeah, it's a good idea to pre-order. If anything, like I said in the earlier video, I believe that they're regressing in gameplay. So there's even more reason not to pre-order NBA 2K. That's my thoughts on it. Don't get me wrong, I love the 2K franchise, and if they did show improvements, I'd be the first one pushing it. Trust me, every year I want to be excited. I don't go into, as much as I complain in these videos and these live streams. When I get the game, I'm excited to play. I don't go into it like, what are we finna play now? I have to be forced into being disappointed each and every year, because it's like I'm a kid again. Every time the new game drops, it's like I'm a kid again, and I forget everything from the last year, and I'm looking at it with fresh eyes, like ready to play. I spent $1,000 within the first month on the release of NBA 2K25, creating all new builds, thinking that the gameplay was going to be amazing and match the rep grind with an amazing rep grind. That was not the case. After spending that initial $1,000, I barely spent anything the rest of the year after I realized what 2K25 was gonna be. The gameplay forced that disappointment on me. I was ready to spend, and I was ready to grind to legend. Crazy. Surely you see that's the same guys behind SGA in front of him. I see what you're saying. And why is that guy turned around that way? Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying that guy is the same. I get it. I see what you're. Man, that's extra lazy, huh? That's extra lazy. Yeah, it's incredibly unpredictable, and it's unfortunate because we all know. I think. Let me ask you guys this: how many of y'all think that NBA 2K, the company, has the ability to create the most amazing basketball simulation experience ever, and like leave? I gotta pull up that image so you can leave the good majority of the player base happy. The good majority happy or content at the very least. It'd be a small percentage that's unhappy. What I mean to say is they have the tools at their disposal, but for some reason it seems like they're choosing not to use them. Almost like they're giving us this little trickle effect of gameplay or trickle improvements of gameplay. And we're like, what are we talking? How much money did you make last year? And how big is 2K headquarters? And why does the gameplay look like this? I did hear about the new FC City is gonna have like a city type of thing. I did hear about that. Just by the cover alone, I know the game will be butt cheeks. Oh man, people aren't really feeling the cover, huh? I think they have that ability 100%. Yeah, that's how I feel too. We know like they have the skills, the ability to make it happen. But what do we get? We get a game where you can barely inbound the rock. We get a game where free throws are one of the most difficult shots you could take on the game. Like it's so backwards. So backwards. I don't know. I love what they did with the mid-range, but they had to eliminate the baseline. Why you couldn't give us the baseline and the mid-range? Why am I being forced out of bounds, period? Why is there a sideline glitch right now where you don't get forced out of bounds? But if you're one step away from the sideline, that same defender that you normally glitch by can now push you out of bounds. And it's random. Flip of a coin, whether or not you're going to get called for a foul or get called out of bounds. He said, I keep missing 97% free throws. You see what I'm saying? GTA about to end sports games, and it's sad to see. It's two different genres of gaming. Unless GTA incorporates some type of sports that take the gaming industry by storm within the game, sports games, they're always going to be here. Never forget missing 100% free throw is what Tron said. How do you miss 100% free throw? Why do you miss 100% free throw? Who is involved with the coding for free throws in NBA 2K25? Who thought that it was a good idea when you was putting those sliders up that it said free throw? I don't know how coding works, but I imagine they have some sort of sliding thing there. I have no idea how that thing works, but I understand that 2K has referenced sliders quite often, increasing or decreasing the success rate of a particular shot or whatnot, or a particular move, whatever. And I just mean to say, who thought that it was good to raise that joint and make it so like strict to hit a free throw? The joint says free. It must have been the same dude who thought it was a good idea to introduce free throw badges. Stop it, man. That is the least of our worries as a 2K player. Nobody's saying, why is everybody hitting their free throws? Not in the history of 2K. Man, look at this game. It's butt cheeks. Everybody can hit their free throws. You should only risk free throw like if you don't play the game often, you don't pay attention to your cue, and you try to put a 50 free throw on your player. Why do we have to put a 99 free throw on our players? 90 plus. Stop it. If I'm in the middle of a dunk animation and I get take out of it mid-dunk, it should be a foul 10 times out of 10. There was something that happened. This is what I mean by how 2K markets the game to us will determine like what are they trying to cover up. This is exactly where this whole idea in my mind comes from. 2K marketed that type of contact as a new feature in 2K called the Impact Engine. That same new feature that they incorporated into the game was exactly what takes people who have queued up a dunk animation. It takes a different controller queue up to get a layup or a dunk. So you're driving to the paint, you queue up a dunk animation, but your player ends up laying the rock up because of contact. No. By the way, 2K games were never like that. If you queued up a dunk, you went for a dunk. Whether that was successful, whether there was a conversion or not, that was determined by the player attributes, your dunking attribute versus the defender's blocking attribute. The blocker will go up for a swap block animation and you'll see him swinging through. If you got there first, you get the dunk. Or if you dunked with the correct hand, you remember there used to be skill in dunking? Do you guys remember that? You go up with your right hand and make sure that the defender's on your left side. Do you remember how skillful? You had so much control. So much control in dunking. Now in NBA 2K25, the joint is so RNG that even if you choose the correct hand, defender on your left side, you go up with your right hand. The blocking animation makes zero sense and kind of warps you into a block on the furthest hand from the defender. Zero skill. And I'm running with a center now. That's what I'm using right now. Why can't 2K? Fortnite could do it. Why not? I think you definitely need to make a video on how 2K literally copy and pasted the players on the new 2K cover and just dragged them on different angles. That's not a, I'll keep that in mind. A Hot Wheels. I'll keep that in mind. It's I don't know if you guys see what he's referring to. Let me put the joint in front of the chat so maybe everybody could see what the homie is talking about. What he's saying is if you see the blurred out player on the left side, on the far left, that is blurred out with his back turned, he's saying that's the same player that's right behind SG on the right side, and this player that's on the back left is the same player that's here on the bottom right of the image that's blurred out. That's a next level of lazy. You how does oh my god, that's so wild. Because you guys know I've been joking all year whenever we do the the seasonal updates. All year I've been joking that 2K has graphic designers stuck in the bottom basement at 2K headquarters just designing banners all day because NBA 2K seasons offer so many banners. And some of them banners are fire. How do the people who are designing banners deliver something? How is a banner looking better than the actual cover for the game? I personally think the cover looks dope. From a graphic designer's perspective, that's from a consumer's perspective. But from a graphic designer's perspective, it's like, what the hell? Holla at me, 2K. I could have did something for you. Be something like that NBA license, 1.1 billion, B. Kick out Pookie. I'll do something for you. Cover screams here. Damn. He said, Daniel Nelson said the cover screams here. Damn, take it. Hold on. What Shy say? Shy in the building. They might be doing a montage where if you get the next 3 or 4 games and lay them side by side, you can make a mural. That's crazy. That's insane. Your meter dunks should not be unblockable. Definitely not. Meter dunks should not be unblockable. I don't think they're not unblockable. Though it's not like they're complete. Maybe if you have a 99 driving dunk. But yeah, meter dunks should not be unblockable. You know, 2K, have you guys, let me ask you guys something. Have you guys ever played, I remember back in the day, I don't know how if this still happens, but when you used to download the 2K app, there was like a card game where you see your card dribbling the rock. You had your actual card. Think about My Team cards. There was an actual card of your player, and then the 2 cards will face off against the 2 cards, and they'll be dribbling the rock, and you see the card kind of jump. Well, anyway, the way in which, you know, your success or conversion was determined is if, you know, this card had a high block and your card had a low dunk, it was a block almost every time. I had thought during that time that that's what 2K would incorporate into gameplay. You know, simple. Your attributes. If I have a 92 block, I'm in good position, and you're trying to drive in on me, and you have a 65 dunk, block every single time. Simple. Frank Daniel said 2K. He said this is 2K saying, Chat GPT, create a cover for 2K26. It's so noticeably AI generated. Disgusting. Disgusting that a company that could reach the levels of success as 2K put out something that's so noticeably AI generated when they have graphic designers creating banners for 2K throughout the entire year. Banners that look dope in comparison to this. Or way more complex, I should say. Way more complex. way more work involved in creating those banners that go under your My Players than they did for the 2K cover. Like I said, I think the cover looks dope. I think it does. It's vibrant. But from a graphic designer's perspective, nah, bro. What are you doing? You could have just added. They could have just added some graphics on the along the bottom side, and it would have eliminated the blur. Like people wouldn't have even noticed the blur so much. Where's Shay with all his trophies on the cover? That would have been dope. That would have been dope. I ain't gonna front. I saw an image of that earlier today. He said when the community makes better cover art than a billion-dollar company. No more current gen. We on next gen only. Full advantage of next gen, more potential. A lot of people think that because 2K, we don't know, it's not 100% confirmed that NBA 2K is not dropping for old gen consoles, but a lot of people think that gameplay will be improved and is beneficial to 2K players, that they no longer focus on the old gen versions of 2K, and the additional help would they don't have to focus on two separate games. The additional help will make this, the newer versions of 2K that much better. I don't believe that to be the case. It's possible, but I don't think that'll happen. NBA, I don't think a lot of players know that both the current gen or the old gen version of the game and the new gen, they were not created by the same developers. Yeah, one development team creating the new gen version, one development team creating the old gen versions. I think it was Visual Concepts Austin. They were formerly a company called Hugbang that were creating the old gen versions of NBA 2K games, and the regular development team was focused on the new gen version. I don't know what's going to happen to Visual Concepts Austin if they do stop making the old gen version of the game. MJ Bird and Magic Joint was fire. He said, "Yeah, I don't see the vision. It's Tatum versus SGA 1-on-1." Let me see if they dropped anything. Let me see real quick if they sent any other information out, because people are still waiting on the pre-order information. Yeah, so they didn't. So it's a wrap for today. They didn't send out the pre-order information. So the pre-order information we'll definitely share in tomorrow's live stream and video. We'll go through the pricing, things you could expect to receive for pre-orders. It's probably going to be very similar, but at least we'll get an idea of the pricing for the standard version, of NBA 2K26. And I'm curious. I'm hella curious if they're going to raise it. I'm going to wait this year. My homies will play, but I can't do it. I'm going to see the gameplay first, because I ain't going to lie. I was a victim. I had 899 overalls. Mumble facts. They don't need to make current gen games no more because it's holding the next gen's performance back. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't give that much faith to 2K. If they wanted to release a really good game, they have full ability to make that happen. Now, that's not to say that they're lazy. From what I hear, I just think they're misguided in their focus. From what I hear, the devs work extremely hard, 16-hour days, back to back to back to back. They work a tremendous amount of hours from what I hear. But there has to be, if they're putting in that much effort and then getting this response from the community, you have to be misguided. You have to be. Like, in other words, the leadership is misguiding their efforts, because gameplay should have been priority number one. And for any 2K game, gameplay has to be priority number one. And if you played the game a week, not an hour, play it for a week, you'll damn near see every flaw in the game. From a developer's perspective, not even from a player's perspective. Why is my player with a 95 pass accuracy throwing the rock right to the defender's face and my teammate is to the right? You get what I'm saying? Why is physics so weird on NBA 2K25? Why is there such a huge recovery For someone who you got a point guard driving into the paint. You got the center who should be able to block him with his hands up, but is forced to jump because hands up so broken. So they're forced to jump. You jump at this point guard. He still manages to get the ball up in the air. When you land as a defender, you're ending up in a recovery animation that lasts just enough time for the offense to get the ball back. There's something so wrong, and that's what I mean to say. Like, if from a developer's perspective, I would say, oh no, that can happen easy. Let's fix that. Adjust that slider. Let's fix that. Adjust this here. Make sure inbounding, there's enough space on inbounding. He said, why Bigfoot vlogs look better than 2K? Starving your community of gameplay until 2 weeks before the game comes out, just sad. You know what EA is going to do? Watch EA change up. Watch EA change up the whole way on how to market games. I'd be surprised if they don't. There should be like gaming blogs, people with early access, creators. 2K is so dated in how they use creators. They should be giving the game out to creators, no embargo. I think 2K thinks that they're finessing the system with the way in which they market. That's not your doing, 2K. That is the success of the older versions of 2K that lend people that even give people the thought to pre-order the game. It is not the embargo of the way in which your marketing rollout works. If the game is good, people are gonna buy it. If your game is good, you should give it to creators. I'm not saying me. I'm just saying even larger creators. Some of the largest creators in the community should have the game and be able to review the game and say what they see. But they know I think they know they have so many flaws in their game that will be exposed and probably hurt sales. Because if there wasn't the case, then they wouldn't have anything to worry about. He said EA gave Madden content creators early access to play the game. Look at that. Watch EA do that with the college basketball game. Watch that. And it's going to be a breath of fresh air for basketball sports gamers. There's going to be just like a breath of fresh air. Like, oh, look at this. I don't feel taken advantage of. I'm going to buy that. As I was saying that right now, you can't help but get that feeling when you're playing 2K. I can't imagine people, I just did no money spent on this last build. And when you approach the game from that perspective, it's like you feel inferior. When you're spending money on 2K, you feel superior. You got all your boosts, all your attributes are up, everything is good. So you feel Gatorade always up. The most optimal my player you could have when you have VC. But when you go no money spent, you feel inferior. My player still plays good for the most part, but he's lacking certain boosts. Sometimes he don't have Gatorade. He said, "Don't buy this crap." The day 2K goes out of business or severely drops in revenue, the gaming community will heal. Yeah, we're gonna have to go like through a mourning process or something like that. To keep it a buck with y'all, we know that there's NBA 2K just signed a new partnership deal with the NBA, creating a whole new media company called NBA Take Two Media. That helps give you guys an idea of how much more years we have of NBA 2K. Man, I don't blame you for not pre-ordering. Like I said, if I wasn't a content creator, I highly doubt I would pre-order this game. I don't pre-order any other games. This is what I mean. There's not a game that I pre-order. So if I didn't play 2K as a content creator, I wouldn't be pre-ordering this one either. I have a 99 pass accuracy on my 7-1, and I still be throwing the ball out of bounds. I believe if you're playing my career, they shouldn't make you use your boost. Another thing, ain't that some? If you're playing my career, shouldn't we have an option by now to turn off boost per game? Why does it cost the same amount of boost to play a park game that it does to play a pro am or reg game? Why do you lose your boost if the game isn't completed? Shouldn't we have an option to shut off boost? Like, I don't want to use this boost for this game. Let me tick that off. Maybe I'm switching players and I just bought 30 boosts because I was on my point guard. So I bought 30 of each for shooting, playmaking, um, and what is it? And maybe driving dunk. And now I'm switching to my center. So I don't want to lose this boost because I don't need the playmaking on my center build. Like, come on. You don't think they know this? I'm like, that. Come on, 2K. That is petty. The goal for 2K is to get you guys to buy VC packs. That's the goal. If you guys didn't know, there was a new law that was recently passed in the EU where gaming companies are going to now have to start putting a dollar figure price on the individual items that are up for sale. So in other words, you go into Swags, you'll see a dollar figure price next to the VC tag for each individual item. And what this means is you'll be able to buy the individual item instead of having or being forced to buy actual VC packs of 700,000 VC, 450,000 VC. Because what happens to the gamers when they actually buy that 450,000 VC, they don't really truly recognize the impact of the individual item that they're purchasing in Swags. So 2K's goal is to get you guys to get rid of VC. So that way you're encouraged to buy a new pack of VC. When you're in your guard build and you get 30 rebound, how many times that happened? Man, countless times, countless. Put this down here. They should give us the option to activate boosts when we want. They said they should give us the option to activate boosts when we want to use them, just like they let us activate the XP tokens or when you want to use them. This should be easy, right? It should be easy. What is it the homie said about Steam? Why can't I hit a 63 pointer consistently but miss more with a 97? That's crazy if you're hitting more consistent. I could understand if it's just exaggerated what you're saying, but it is crazy if you're hitting more with a 63 pointer than you are with a 97. Every time I use a 2 XP token, I get put in a hell game where you're like barely able to do anything. I wish there was no boosts and new badges in the game where you can create them. Boost needs to be removed. Boost is the money maker for 2K. It's like one of the primary money makers. Do you think 2K paid off EA to not make any basketball? No. They did not. At least I don't think that's the case. What I can say is from what I know over the years, there was a guy named Brian Mazik who's a sports writer for Forbes, and he ended up. I tried looking for this article and I can't find it anywhere. I know I made a video about it during the time, but NBA Live wanted to drop a free-to-play game to compete with NBA 2K. It was the NBA who stepped in on behalf of 2K and said you cannot drop a free-to-play game because it's going to affect the sales for NBA 2K, and that in turn affects their partnership with NBA 2K. And it was shortly thereafter that the NBA Live team was disbanded and they never dropped that free-to-play game. So that's something that we had known about. In case you guys want to try to look for it, I've tried looking for it myself, but Brian Mazik was the writer and he wrote for Forbes. And I probably have a video on it during that time. I'm almost 100% certain I made a video on it during that time. Yeah, 2K buried that article. Ain't that some? Because I'm like, yo, I know that article was out there. I made a video and I've always kept that in mind. And I started following Brian Mazik because of that article. Yeah, when do we get 2 times VC back? But either way, on that note, y'all, I'm finna wrap up this live stream. Wanted to show you guys the new cover recently announced by NBA 2K. I don't think it was 2K's intention to release the cover today. It got leaked by Shams. and 2K acknowledged that it was leaked. Within 40 minutes, 2K dropped the official cover release. Sham said something along the lines of rumors say that SGA is going to be on the cover of 2K. 2K responded by putting the eyes emoji and retweeted it. And 40 minutes later, they dropped the official announcement for this SGA cover for 2K26. Yeah, the NBA said, nah, bro, that just shows how big 2K. That's what I try to say these things so folks can get an idea and kind of gauge how large NBA 2K actually is, how much pull they have. You mess with 2K, you're messing with the NBA. It's like, damn. And those are two conglomerates, two extremely large and powerful companies. The parent company, this alone makes, I mean, even thinking NBA, like the parent company of 2K is the parent company of GTA. That alone is like, damn. Then you say, well, the NBA got 2K's back. Damn. And then you say, damn, they recently just signed a partnership deal creating a whole new media company called NBA Take-Two Media. Damn. We got like 20 or 30 more years of NBA 2K. Man, oh man. All right, yeah. I'm finna wrap up this live stream. If we get any additional information tomorrow, we should be receiving the information about the pre-orders, and I'll start a live stream about that, or maybe upload a video, either or maybe both. But I'm wishing you all a safe and blessed rest of the evening. I'll catch you guys on the next video live.